Rams house. It's time for a Ty Simpson deep dive. On today's episode of the Rams Report presented by Prize Picks, we're going to get to know our brand new quarterback. Of course, he will not be the starter this season, but we need to get to know this guy and why Les Snead and Sean McVay felt like it was the right call to take him 13th overall. Because I think the more you guys get to know him, the way that I have over the last couple of days, the way when we dived into who he is and what he's going to bring to this team, you're going to really like that they made that decision. But before we do it, I got to know. I know the draft didn't go the way we wanted it to, but if you are still riding with the Rams, if you are still RAMILY, comment RAMILY for me, guys. It's a RAMILY roll call in the comment section today. I got to know where the real ones are, where the real Rams fans are still at, because I know there's been a lot of negativity, but I know in our heart of hearts, we are all still diehard Rams fans, and we're all still riding with the RAMILY. So comment RAMILY if you still feel that way for me today. But let's get to meet Ty Simpson. If you're not too familiar with his game or just with him as a person, here's the basics. He was born on December 1st of 2002, making him 23 years old. He'll turn 24 during this season, which I know is a point of contention for some of you guys. He's a little bit of an older rookie. He did spend 4 years in college, all of which were at Alabama, but he only made 15 career starts as a 5-star recruit out of Martin, Tennessee. He was heavily recruited to most of the Power 5 big-time contenders, including Tennessee. It was a big-time recruiting battle between Tennessee and Alabama. If you're a fan of either of those programs, I am sure you are very, very familiar with that whole story. And he is the son of UT Martin head coach Jason Simpson, something we'll talk about a little bit more later. But another fun fact about him, and I hope he likes this little photo that I put together if he's watching this video, he is an enormous fan of Legos, has a huge collection, self-described enormous Lego fan, says what he likes about building Legos, and I find this interesting, is that it is so antithetical to being a quarterback. It's so different than the snap decisions required of a quarterback, instead offering you an opportunity to follow a written process and to have a lot of decisions made for you within the handbook and follow that guide. So I think that's a pretty interesting note about him and his hobbies outside of football. But let's talk about the football end of it. Why was it Ty? I think it starts, and for a lot of you, it's going to end with the arm talent. This should really be, for some of you guys, the only reason that they drafted Ty. But if it is, he checks that box, guys. He absolutely does. When I watched the tape, and this is something that I felt before, even though I didn't really, and I'll be honest, before this draft, this was not what I wanted for the Rams at 13. I'm not going to say that it was. I'm not going to lie to you guys and say I was all in on Ty Simpson at 13 to the Rams. But always, I felt like he could be a successful NFL quarterback. And you see that on tape. He is a highly, highly accurate quarterback. That 64.5 completion percentage could have been 72 with some better coaching points, something we'll get into a little bit later. But efficiency is absolutely his game. And he was at his best in these 4 games, in my opinion. These are the 4 games where I watched Ty Simpson tape and I just drool at the possibilities with this dude. Wisconsin tore him up. Georgia, in a huge game on the road, tore him up. Missouri also on the road. He tore those guys up. And he went on the road to Oklahoma in the college football playoff, led a 17-0 comeback win against my Sooners. Heartbreaking for me personally, but dog moment for our new QB. We're going to talk about a lot more with this kid, and you guys are going to get to love him even more as we continue to roll through this video. But before we do that, I've got to give a shout out to the sponsor, and that is the good people over at Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Guys, if you love daily fantasy sports or you just want to make watching sports even more exciting than it already is, you've got to try out Prize Picks. And it's a great time to get started too, because playoff basketball is in full swing and the baseball season is well underway. There's no better place to cash in on all that action than Prize Picks. It's super easy to play. You just pick 2 to 6 players and you select more or less on their stat projections, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers. If you're going for baseball, you could choose from hits, home runs, or strikeouts. They also have really awesome social features, guys. guys. They allow you to easily tail or fade your friends or your favorite creators, including me. I'm on there. Jackson Durham with no spaces is the username. If you guys want to drop a follow and see all the lineups I've been placing lately, including this one on the season-long picks. I went with the less on Fernando Mendoza, the less on Jeremiah Love, and the more on Jordan Tyson. You guys can tail me on that lineup. You could fade me on that lineup. Whatever you do, just do it with our friends at Prize Picks. And if you're a new user, download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. The clickable link to download the app is in the comments and in the description. But let's move to reason number 2. So arm talent, he checks that box. You see that on tape. I could show you the numbers. Absolutely true. But I think another one of the reasons why they wanted him goes beyond the arm and to the mobility that this dude offers. This is something that I truly feel has been a desire of Sean McVay and Les Snead's to add to this offense. They didn't do it with Matthew Stafford, but I think quietly, they've wanted to bring in a quarterback that offers them some rushing versatility. And you may notice these rushing stats are higher than the rushing stats that were on the other one. It's because I wanted to show you guys what he actually can do, because I think it's dumb that the college stats, they take the sack numbers out of the rushing stats. So it's like 93 with the sacks, but that was because he was sacked for like 204 yards worth of sack yardage, which anyway, this says nothing about what he can do as a rusher. He is a very effective rusher and rushing threat with his legs. 40-plus design quarterback runs for him at Alabama this season, 43 to be exact, and he was efficient on those. He also, it's not just about what he can do in terms of scramble drill, in terms of design quarterback run. It's about buying himself extra time within the pocket. He knows how to make a guy miss and keep his eyes downfield to remain a dangerous passing threat, to keep the defense on its toes. Of course, you want to see him run sometimes, but even more dangerous than running is the ability to get outside of the pocket and still be an incredibly dangerous and effective threat with his arm. I think that's incredibly exciting about Ty Simpson, and that's a huge reason why the Rams went after him. But the last, and maybe the biggest, I think for Les Snead, for maybe not for you guys, but I think for Les and Sean, one of the biggest reasons why they were attracted to Ty Simpson is obviously the football stuff is incredible, but who he is as a human being is a perfect match for what the Rams need in a quarterback right now. He talked in John Gruden's QB school about what attracted him to Alabama. And it was NFL infrastructure. This is a kid who's incredibly smart. The way he talks about the decision to go to Alabama, understanding that, hey, this is a place that I can go where I'm going to be surrounded by NFL talent, iron sharpening iron in practice every single day. And he didn't go anywhere. I think that's so valuable, right? This is a guy who stayed at Alabama despite not being given the opportunity. As a 5-star recruit in today's day and age of the NIL and the transfer portal, making it easier than ever for you to go get your opportunity wherever you might want it. Those offers were there for Ty Simpson all the way until his senior year, but he didn't take them. He chose to stick with it at Alabama. He chose to stick with the program, backing up Bryce Young and Jalen Hurts early on, learning from guys who would go on to be incredibly successful NFL quarterbacks, being recruited and coached by one of the greatest defensive minds in football history and tested by him in practice daily, Nick Saban, and all of that because he was able to embrace being a backup, because he was able to embrace his role. And this is something that he talked about to Rams media. They asked him what his goals are for the first year. Do you want to go win Rookie of the Year? Was the soundbite question. And he ain't going for that cheese. That is, it's weak sauce on the reporter's part to ask that question of this dude, trying to get a quote out of him, trying to get a soundbite out of him. But he responded, he said, Matthew Stafford's the reigning MVP. If my goal was to win the Rookie of the Year, that's not going to go very well. And then he added, my plan is to get better each day. I'm blessed enough to be in a great quarterback room with great coaches, the reigning MVP, a first ballot Hall of Famer, talking about Stafford, the best head coach in football. I just want to soak up all that knowledge. Keep that mindset, brother. You're going to need it. because this is exactly what we want to hear from him. Because right now, it's not his time. This is still Stafford's team. Sean McVay made that very clear. We all know that. This is Matt's team for as long as he wants it to be. But I think nobody is more okay with that than Ty himself. Ty himself is a learner, a student of the game. I think he is so excited to get to be around Matthew Stafford, a self-described football junkie who grew up watching this dude ball out at the NFL level. You can't tell me he is not just chomping at the bit to get in the room with Matthew Stafford and pick his brain about what it means to be a successful NFL quarterback, about how to have the type of career that Matthew has had, the type of impact that Matthew has had, not just in LA, but also in Detroit throughout his nearly 20-year career in the NFL. This is a guy I get excited about for that mindset, and also just for the intelligence that he has as a quarterback. He's a whiz kid, man. That is one thing that I walked away from that Gruden school with, watching an hour of this dude talk football and understand football. And if you've never watched Gruden's QB class, he's going to try to put these kids through their paces. He's going to try to get you to learn an offense on the fly, see how well you can retain information, and he can do that incredibly well. And you know that's the case because at Alabama last season, Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer in his first year as a starter gave him free reign to make pre-snap adjustments and audibles at the line of scrimmage. You almost never see that for a first-year starter. Hell, there aren't many college quarterbacks that are making pre-snap adjustments, period. That's like one of the things that makes Stafford stand out these days in the NFL even, because how many NFL quarterbacks do you see going up to the line and changing things down to down? Not that many. Ty Simpson is cerebral. That is his game. He is the son of a coach, and it shows in everything that he does. Someone who grew up around football, an absolute junkie and addict of it. I'm buying in, guys. I know you could probably tell from the way I'm talking about this dude, but the more I dive, the more I buy. The more I am buying Ty Simpson stock, that this kid is our future. But are you with me? I got to know. Are you in on Ty Simpson, or are you still on the fence? Let me know in the comments. If you're behind him, I think we all need to be. Type Ty. If you think Ty's the future, if you believe in Ty's chances to be the future of this Rams team when Matthew Stafford is ready to step away, that it's going to be his show and that he's going to ball out for us, then type Ty in the comments for me. If you're not convinced yet, if you still need more time, give me a no in the comment section below. But guys, this will be far from the last time that we talk Ty Simpson. I'm excited about this kid. I'm sure you can tell. Of course, we're still excited about Matthew Stafford and what he's going to bring in the here and now. But we have to be excited about drafting a quarterback in the first round, something this team has not done in a decade. This is the first time this team has done that in a decade. This is big time for this franchise. This is the future right here in Ty Simpson. We'll talk about the now, but we got to be focused on that. So we'll see you in the next one. Speaking of the future, as always, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, let's go Rams.